All right, we are back from vacation with the last 2 hours of the last day of June's Shrine. We're going to try to crank out videos on the last couple days of the anniversary event, the 7-year anniversary event. And sorry we missed out on a couple, but we got a good one for you here today. And we're going to get this up. So maybe in the 11th hour, if you want some of these perks, you can still grab them. Let us pull up our pen real quick here so we can kind of write down our thoughts. The epic pen here. So we've got some good ones here today. What we got for our killer players are barbecue and chili and trail of torment. So we've got two perks that are licensed killer perks. So whenever they're licensed, we always give them a little extra consideration. That way you don't have to spend actual cash to get the perks if you don't want to play those killers. So a lot of times they can be a better use of your iridescent shards. And there are two survivor perks, our clairvoyance and Michaela Reed perk, and then we have corrective action, Jonah Vasquez perk. So these are behavior IP, so you can unlock the characters, then use perks. So with that said, we always consider those a little bit lower than the license perks. So we'll talk about the killer perks first. Barbecue and chili is, I guess, nerfed since its original glory, where it gave extra blood points and everybody ran it. But basically, it is a aura reading perk. Focus survivor. Next 4 seconds, any auras of survivors 40 meters away or farther are revealed to you. So it's good on getting that hook and then letting you know where to go with like your pop goes the weasel, or where to just go to pressure survivors, where to get in the next chase. If you don't see anyone, you know it's either them in lockers within 40 meters, or they're running some sort of stealth perk. There's a number of them out there, but some sort of perk to prevent aura reading. So they are, or this is a useful perk. Barbecue and chili is still a good perk, even without the extra blood points. With the blood point changes and making things easy to get, they took that away, so people didn't feel like they had to have barbecue and chili, had to pay cash to get it. But still a very solid or reading perk. You pair this up with one other location perk, maybe like Discordance, throw on Pop and Corrupt, and boom, you've got a very solid build right there. The only issue, like I said, is that it is aura reading. So if there is anything blocking out aura reading, not as useful. But that's why you can pair it up with some other things like Tinker or Discordance that reads gens, not survivors, and then you're in a pretty good spot. So this is one of those that we would kind of scale as meta. It might slide to just off meta, kind of like a second choice, but it's definitely still meta there. Definitely a very solid perk. And then we'll take a look at Trail of Torment. This is an executioner perk, Pyramid Head. And basically, after damaging a generator, you become undetectable until the generator stops regressing or a survivor is injured or put into the dying state by any means. During this time, the generator's yellow aura is revealed to survivors, and then only trigger this every 60 seconds. So it's a little bit of a stealth perk, and it can be good. It's just there's a lot of different options out there, like the Tinkerer that we mentioned earlier, that helps with a little bit of stealth, and the amount of value you get out of this can vary, right? If they run right over and just tap that generator, it's gone. But it is nice to pair up with some other gen kicking perks, because then it lets you know that the gen's still regressing, they haven't touched that. So um, it can be helpful with that, so you know that you're getting some pressure on that generator, and then any sort of undetectable that you get is nice as well. It also forces survivors to make a choice, right? If they let that generator keep regressing, they go work on a different one. Now you're undetectable until you sneak up on somebody, or they wasted time going back to that gen to touch it and take away your undetectable, but they wasted a bunch of time. So it can be good slowdown and some information. It's kind of one of those hybrid perks. It's just one of those ones where definitely going to want it more in a specific build where you're getting some value out of kicking gens. Maybe you have some more reading build off of kicking gens. Maybe you have some gen kicking perks to speed that up, some of the regress. It's just a little bit more build around, but definitely it's not trash. Oh, two solid killer perks there. This would probably be the one that we say is our number one killer choice and our number two killer choice. And we'll just kind of circle perks. So finished up our thoughts there. Um, Again, maybe we'll show a build with this. Barbecue throws can be thrown into just any build for the most part. It's not really a build around perk. This one, you might want to build around a little bit. So what do we have survivor wise? We have Clairvoyance, Michaela Reed perk, and basically it activates when you cleanse a totem. When empty-handed, hold the activate ability button to unlock your full aura reading potential. For up to 10 seconds, you can see the auras of exit gate switches, generators, hooks, chests, and the hatch within 64 meters. So it does a lot. There's also some text that I think are still in the game with it, where you lose collision while you're doing this, so you can do some cool stuff in chase with it as well. But it's just an info perk for survivors. Does kind of a lot. You don't see it a ton, uh, but can make some use out of it. I think it's one of those ones that if we're giving it a rating on our rating scale, it's going to be more of a meme perk, right? You're going to be doing specific builds. You're either going to be doing text with the lack of collision, if that's still a thing. I haven't seen a lot about Clairvoyance later, so don't hold me to that. Or you're going to be using it as kind of a build around in some sort of totem busting build. So it's kind of lower tier, but it's not trash. It's one that you can use. It's just more niche with that. And that brings us to our last perk, which is corrective action. We're not going to read that part. You start the trial with 3 tokens to gain a token up to a maximum of 5 for every great skill check. When a survivor fails a normal skill check while cooperating with you, 1 token is consumed and the failed skill check becomes a good skill check. So this is one that you're going to run with your friends that are new at the game to help keep them from blowing up gens and keep things cranking along. And that is where the problem with this perk lies, right? You're relying on other people screwing up. So first you have to be on a gen with someone else, and they have to be screwing up. Uh, so if you're playing with a friend and you know they're going to be screwing up, and you know that you can find them with bonds or comms or whatever, could be useful. But otherwise, not going to get a ton of value out of this perk. So this is one that's going to be, I think, very niche. And because of that, and because people typically learn to hit skill checks pretty quickly, this is more of a trash tier perk. So, what do we do with our summary here? Well, basically, if you want these survivor perks, BP, right? Unlock characters and use BP. Trouble right in there. So unlock the characters and use BP there. That's going to be our thought there. Probably not worth your hard-earned iridescent shards for these. When it comes to the killer perks, I think these are solid pickups, right? We have these 2 perks here, Trail of Torment and Barbecue and Chili, and I think they're both solid. And I think that if you don't want to unlock those characters, use the iridescent shards, right? You're going to get some value out of these. Barbecue be my priority, but Trail of Torment, if you like being undetectable, like kicking gens, then that's a good one to pick up. If you don't like that playstyle, maybe avoid this perk, but Barbecue and Chili is kind of a star must pick up kind of perk. We keep hovering over stuff by accident, but Barbecue and Chili is really the marquee perk here. Trail of Torment you might want, and then the Survivor perks you're probably going to pick up with some iridescent shards for the characters, and then blood points for the perks. So we'll go over to our builds. We always like to give a little kind of build summary of these. So these ones we're skipping. These 2 we'll talk about a little bit. I'll hop over on. Got Clown up right now. Trying to think of who we've got open slots for. I have open slot somewhere on the Singularity. So yeah, if we're doing a barbecue and chili build, if you like barbecue, you even can run barbecue with something like lethal to get you that early game, and then increased aura reading after that. That's one we definitely like. Just type in here instead of just meandering through the perks. So that's kind of a solid combo there. With the aura reading, you got lethal to start the game, use your barbecue and chili, and then you don't want to be kicking gens. You can very easily go with something like No Way Out. So we got No Way Out, and you go with Deadlock, and then you don't have to do anything but chase. It's a very solid chasing build there with barbecue and chili. That's one that we like. Or you can go with some slightly different perks if you want to use barbecue and chili, kind of let you know where to go to kick. Go with Pop, and then you could also go with something like Corrupt to help out in the beginning. Never seen the type in that box. So that's also very solid build there. This is kind of a nod to old DVD minus the lethal. You don't want to run lethal. And corrupt does enough to kind of push the survivors to you. Then you absolutely can run something like discordance or a chase perk. If it's that one killer, put something like save the best for last there. What's nice about this combo is this reads generators, this reads survivors, so you're gonna get some sort of aura reading no matter what. And then you got your slowdown, but you absolutely could go with something like save the best for last here with barbecue and some slowdown. Your M1 killers to speed up chase. Just very flexible perk. Which, now, if we're going Trail of Torment, something I would go with as we get rid of all of these. Behavior, if you're listening, I'd like a clear button so we can just clear all the moves there. Put Trail on. So you could go Trail. Again, Trail relies on damaging generators. So what might we want with that? So this is going to be our undetectable one, a little bit of aura reading there, which is nice. Could bring something like Call of Brine, or depending on what killer you're doing, you could bring something. On here, a couple of options. Dragon's Grip's an option as well. Now thinking here a little bit. Going for strength here, what we really want to go with. We'll be able to take advantage of this. So nowhere to hide's nice, so we can see where people are. Trail of Torment is undetectable. You can watch the gen a little bit. Maybe you throw a pop on there as well. Now we got our slowdown. Got some undetectable and generator monitoring. Got some location to try to find anybody camping around there, so that way they don't touch that gen super quick. Get a nice quick hit, and then kind of throw one more purple there. It could be corrupt. It could be got aura reading here, so probably want some more slowdown. So something like corrupt wouldn't be bad. That's a little bit more build around. You don't need to search something out. Corrupt's gonna be right here. But yeah, there's a solid build right there. I'm trying to use Trail of Torment, so kind of what we would go with if we were building around two different killer perks. So just some quick thoughts there. We'll hop back over and do a real quick summary one more time. Pop up our thoughts here. But yeah, barbecue if you're not getting the cannibal, if you're not getting Bubba, snag that one. Trail of Torment's a maybe, right? Depending on your playstyle. If you like kicking gens, you like undetectable, want to be a little stealthier as a killer, definitely solid. And then these ones we unlock the characters and spend on instead. So those are our quick thoughts. There's about 2 hours left, maybe an hour and a half for the last day of June Shrine. Then we'll be inking out our content for the July 1st Shrine as soon as it pops up. So hopefully you can grab these if you want them in the 11th hour. But I'm Smig. I'm signing off. Hopefully we'll see you on Twitch, on stream, in the comments, or maybe in the fog. Take care.